going on, my little artichokes? So gonna have to dial back all this stuff in the fundraising for a bit. Kind of push the limits of what I can do on the forums, and you know, the moderators have to protect their groups, and they also don't know us, so for all they know, I can be some sort of whack job. I mean, they'd be right. I do appreciate their patience, but I know it's already getting kind of tested. And not only that, you know, this is a tough subject that we've been dealing with lately, and it's good to warn other people, but it's also negative and vile. I mean, when you could do a caricature on somebody, usually something's pretty rough. And I'd like to get back to being positive again and supportive and just doing my stupid thing. Flying. I haven't flown in a bit. I still want to make something realistic for Trevor, because that was the whole point. And I tried to do it the fun way, because I told my story back in July. I didn't name names. It didn't cause a fuss hardly at all. I tried to make it fun and as positive as I could while sharing a story. And I tried to do it again foolishly. And eventually we had to get a little bit more specific because people demanded answers. And if I was going to ask for people's money to support Trevor, we had to give them proof and do all that jazz. Right now I'm kind of at a limit of how hard I can push that fundraiser. I'll keep links in the descriptions if you guys want to donate, but essentially I need about double of what we've already got in order to make something happen. Had some folks reach out privately that can really help out gear wise. Had some severe discounts for even losses, so I think I just need to get about double and I'd be able to make something happen for them. But in terms of really pushing the fundraiser, it's gonna have to be more private outreach. I'm gonna take a break on doing that on this channel and online. It just, again, people only have so much patience, and if I keep doing it, I'm gonna overstay my welcome, and then I won't be able to reach out to anybody. So it's tough, you know. I'm really grateful for what we've been able to accomplish for him so far. Not just in terms of getting his story out, but you know, people, we're at 2750. You know, that's great. This is why I can't have a YouTube channel. But I thought I would take one last video just to go over more specifics and go back to my story. I was actually a good customer. I was super patient. I had my wing after training, so I kited for months and months and months. And you can see it in my channel. You know, I vlogged all that stuff. You can see me kiting for months and getting frustrated and trying to work and really dial it in. And then you could kind of get a feeling when something wasn't right. So I mean, if you want to check out the story, do that. I wasn't one of those people that was like calling, emailing, texting every day, threatening lawyers or whatnot. My personal communication was actually pretty professional and nice. I didn't want to annoy the person or come across as demanding or impatient. Like, I really wanted to get into this sport doing it the right way, and that is practice. I wanted to practice and practice and practice. I wanted to kite. I wanted my return to flight to be productive and successful. You know, just really wanted to do my homework. I just chose not to go back to that school. One, you know, I didn't get responses, and it's not like I emailed every day or was calling or anything. You know, I kept it 3-4 weeks apart. But it got to a point where I was kind of feeling in the dark. But the biggest impact for me, why I didn't go back, was because I talked to a lot of people. I made a lot of friends, and I just started hearing all sorts of things. And that started happening like right after training. And it got to a point I was like, man, I am not comfortable going back. I just deep down inside my heart, I was like, I can't go back. I don't want to, I just physically can't go back. And then I was hoping to have a clean break at that time where, hey, I could either, you know, get my motor or get my refund and go about my life. I'll show you guys in the emails, you know, what exactly transpired, and you could see, how I got put into a panic. That's what I'm going to do in this, where I'm just going to put up my screen, and I'll put up the emails for you guys to review, see what I didn't get responded to, and then go through the Facebook chat, because that's how he mostly communicated once I said I wasn't going back. And I was nice and professional on it. Now, I'm not like that all the time. Like, I'm definitely not an angry man, like, at all. I get really worked up when I feel like I need to stand up for somebody, and then I'm just like, charge! But, I'm just not an angry guy. I really hope after this there was enough momentum built that I can still get some help for Trevor, because that was my main goal. It's not to go out there and try to take somebody down or whatnot, even though, us beginners need to have access to information to make the best decision for ourselves. This was all about trying to help Trevor, because he helped me. I found him after I decided not to go back, and I got out of a real tough situation because I saw what he went through. And throughout all this and the responses and stuff, there's never been an excuse given for not communicating, like, at all, like not responding to any emails or texts or calls. Like, it's the crazy part. It's like, how do you explain that? What do you tell people? Like, my phone got disconnected and I couldn't use a computer. Like, literally, there's just, you couldn't have any information. You give somebody $10,000 and then you can't get a hold of them for months is not a pleasant experience. Now, he did go out and message pretty much all his former students that he has good relationships with, saying, hey, get online and spam the forums with your review. I had several people screenshot the message to me, and that really weared on people's patience too, at least online. Now, the people who actually went online and like left reviews, I see some people saying, oh, they're just paying you to do that. To be fair to them, I've met some of these people and I've talked to them before this, or even while I was training. They're good people. And yeah, man, they mean well. And some of them are like really close and loyal. But yet when I met them in person, I didn't know how they were going to treat me. And in all honesty, they treated me with respect. They knew my story, and they were like, sorry, I don't know what the heck happened. It's just whatever. And then we laughed and had a good time. They were perfectly kind to me. That was something I really, really appreciated and respected. So, at the end of the day, this is a small town community, and bad gas travels fast. We're going to have our differences on many levels, and like I've said before, the paramotoring community, when you get together and stuff, a lot of those differences go away and you kind of unite and have a beautiful thing. So we were even able to do that despite this. So hopefully after this, that kind of spirit continues. I haven't had anybody really troll me or anything like that, but even if someone felt that way or wanted to say something or currently wants to punch me in my face, like, take it from me, I understand your position and I hear you, and I hope down the road we can have a good experience together, and maybe other stuff will come out, and it is what it is. Like, even with Trevor's story, he was fighting, he got called every name in the book, and then when stuff came out, people were like, well, crap. What did I just say to that guy? Now I actually empathize with him. Hopefully I can keep driving that fundraiser, and if anybody's watching this and you want to make an impact or want me to pay it forward, like I said, if you want to donate gear or something and have me make something as a beginner, I'd be more than happy to work for anything that's donated. Now, that doesn't mean I'll do it in my voice, and I'll probably just work harder on the production quality. So it's not like I'll get something and be like, this is the greatest thing ever. But the support on the back end's been pretty cool. It was just weird today, though. I don't know, someone was flaming today about safety and called out someone specifically just out of nowhere and turned into a big hubbub. And I'm just thinking, you know, safety's super important. That's something worthy to get mad about and have a heavy fight over, because you're talking about people's lives, you know. So, you know, if you don't like people doing barrel rolls and you want to discourage people from doing them, like, hey, that's a good thing to talk about. I want people to live too, so I can keep flying with them. And even though you're talking about life, you'd think that same sort of attention would go towards, you know, consumer advocacy, especially when it comes to new students. New students are really one of the most important focuses that we should have. You know, they should be given the right information. And I mean, I felt at a time I might get discouraged and give up on this, and that might lost my dreams doing it. So, I mean, just going through those emotions and stuff was freaking horrible. The attention span for that, especially from the experienced people, just because they don't want to deal with drama or get involved, it's just it's disappointing. You got to have accountability. And what makes this really serious is the guy has an admin rating. And, you know, the USPPA essentially gave me 20 seconds. And there's been people out there that only gave me like 20 seconds. And yet they'll go on their own rants about something else. Once you get an admin rating, does that come with like qualified immunity? There's so many great instructors out there in schools, and they're just passionate about teaching people and taking ownership of their students and building those relationships and support. And luckily the majority of schools are like that, but it is frustrating. I was pretty bitter for a while this summer just because I knew this was an open secret in the community that, you know, people who were experienced or been in a while just weren't saying anything except for in private circles. You have beginners like me that, you know, you just don't know any better, even though if you try to research for 6 months, you know, we're not told, hey, you might want to do a background check on who you're going to train with. Like, you wouldn't think you would have to do that. Wish me luck with the fundraiser for Trevor. This is what it's all been about, and I want to make that a realistic dream for him. All right, let's get into it. All right, let's start at the beginning. So I popped up all my emails from info@flyppg.com. We have February 10th, order confirmation of training deposit for me and my brother. February 12th, chase cam I never bought. I've got a chase cam and I've never even used it. Okay, February 12th, I ordered the Primus with the Moster 185, Dudek Solo. See, March 31st, got a email from him just letting us know to prepare with things like warm clothes, ibuprofen, that good stuff, what type of gloves to wear. Okay, here's an email thread. So this is all pre-training talk. So pre-training, it responds pretty quickly. Like if you want to sign up, you'll get an email right away, and the general correspondence was pretty good. Trying to freeze it in case you guys want to pause the screen. Okay, so right here, this is something I always thought was funny. So the exo throttle. Initially, I was okay with getting an exo throttle because I just heard they were more durable, but wasn't. I knew people didn't like them, but 99% of people really like the exo and its features. That is a lie. I hated that throttle. Like, you can roll on to power so much smoother with a V throttle. It's just bulky and awkward. 99% of people really like the exo throttle. Man, that's funny. This was a shirt and a cage piece I bought at training because I did break a cage piece and I offered to pay for it. So he jacked up his prices after I bought my paramotor, which is weird because like the Primus, it got jacked up to like $8,500, and that's like more expensive than a Maverick. So it wasn't really a good deal, but I did ask if I could get old pricing from my brother. He told me yeah, and he was willing to sell a used glider. Wanted to get my father-in-law up for a tandem because he was really interested in it. So if you want to buy a windsock pole, you'll get that and you'll get it relatively quickly. So this is June 1st, and he said that my paramotor came in June 1st in his recent video and that he sent me an email, which I never got. But this is June 1st and I had sent him an email. I was trying to plan on a time I can go back that'll work for them. So 4 weeks later, sent another email confirming dates to go back that'd be most convenient for my work. So I didn't send him very many messages. He just never responded to them. At this point, I'd been talking to a bunch of people and just learning a bunch of things I didn't like. See, he said the motor was going to be there at training, and then when we were at training, it was supposed to arrive at the end of the training week. It got delayed to the end of the training week. So after training, I thought I would have heard any day that my motor would have arrived, whether I wanted to go back right away or not. So, this is from a friend. June 30th, he goes, my motor's on its last legs. What's the lead time if I order one in the next couple weeks? And then Mike told him approximately 2 weeks to ship once it's ordered. So Mike responded to him within 2 minutes. Mind you, I had been out of training so I trained at the beginning of April. So we went all of April. Then in May, the middle of May, one of my classmates, he was calling every day, texting, emailing, wouldn't get a response. So he showed up unannounced and got his motor a week or two later. That was middle of the May. And we bought our motors at the same time. So here we are, July, and I haven't even heard. And he didn't respond to any of my emails. So here's July 1st when I said I didn't want to go back. At this point, he started responding via Facebook. Okay, so I won't open up this email right here, the pickup form and receipt, because this is actually going to a friend of mine that was training there that was going to pick up my motor for me. So I drove out there Wednesday, July 7th, got a refund, drove out there unannounced. The money hit my bank a week later. These are just shopping cart items I never bought. So there's all the email correspondence. Here's Facebook. So this communication started April 3rd. That was the start of my training weeks. This is a screenshot of a text with my brother, trying to convince him to pull the trigger on gear, but he wanted to come back for more flights first. Okay, so the last bit of communication was May 3rd, so a little under a month after training. You know, I was just talking about my brother and getting gear. Didn't have any correspondence until June 28th. So I had emailed June 1st and then June 28th. Got no response, except for on June 28th, he messaged me, said leave him a Yelp review. I said, you bet. I didn't leave one. Wondering if my brother wants to buy a used wing. I said, awesome, I'll let him know. Second half of July works for me to come up. Got 3-week window to work with. I said, what dates are you available? I said, July 19th for 3 weeks. So after this message is when I sent the email saying I didn't want to go back. Rather than email, this is his correspondence. So I did warn him that I was going to come down unannounced. I mean, I gave him plenty of heads up on that. Yeah, he said he had to talk to his attorney, so I pretty much stopped talking to him, and next message I sent was, "Hey, I'm at the hangar for pickup." So after pickup, that was our last bit of communication before everything went online. A couple weeks ago, he sent me this message down here. And I'm pretty sure what upset him was I reached out to someone he sponsors, and I was just like, "Are you aware of what your sponsor does?" And I'm pretty sure that guy went and just screenshotted whatever I said. And then what I did with that message, I created a group chat with Chad Bastian and him, just copied that, and I said, "In response to this, I'd like to talk about your training procedures and business practices," which I did in private extremely briefly with Chad, but Mike rambled for hours. It's kind of ridiculous, but yep, there you go. There's the online communication. Yeah, getting dark. So yeah, if you look at that stuff, it doesn't look so bad on my end because, you know, we talk about ghosting a lot, but the thing is I didn't want to bother him. I wanted to kite at home. You know, I just didn't want to press and seem impatient, and some people, they just want it now, and I just wanted to do things the slow and right way. So there was only a couple of times I really ever reached out that were ignored. It wasn't that made me want to leave. The factors that did that, so a couple weeks after training, something was shared with me that was pretty damning. And I tried to pretend I didn't hear it. Maybe it's just hearsay and someone's disgruntled, or I don't know. But it wasn't good. And it was soon after training. And I haven't been able to corroborate it until actually recently. There's a few folks that reached out and said, "No, this happens to us." But at the moment, I have to respect their privacy. And, you know, when they're ready to share that, they will. I know, cop-out thing, but soon after training, you know, I heard something real bad. And then I kept hearing story after story after story. And mind you, I didn't know about Trevor or talk to him until after I said I wasn't going back. And then once I decided I wasn't going back, I found his stuff and I reached out to him. So soon after training, I found something out. And then about 5 weeks after training, and again, the motor was supposed to be there at the end of the week on training. Well, one of my classmates actually did start calling, texting, and emailing every day, and he got ghosted. He just could not get a hold of anybody. So he showed up unannounced and tried to get Mike to come talk to him, and he was told that Mike had diarrhea and couldn't show up. And he was like, "Nope, I want to talk to him on the phone right now," which he was able to do. And you know, he told him straight up, this ain't right. And so he got his motor like 2 weeks later, and this was in May. And then I had another classmate who called, texted, and emailed every day. I mean, we're classmates, so we're close. We talk to each other. And you know, he ended up having to threaten lawyers and all this stuff. My classmates were legitimately ghosted. They honestly texted and called every day. And that other classmate, he bought in January, and he didn't get his motor in until like a month after I got my money back. He got it in like August, I believe. But yeah, from January to August, and just communication that's ghosted. And even when it was getting close, that he was like, "Hey, I might actually get my motor soon," it turned out that the wrong frame was ordered. He ordered the Primo version, and something else supposedly showed up. Got to a point eventually he did go back for some more flights, and he was loaned a motor until his came in, and then he was also given some extra spare parts and stuff when he finally received his motor. And the last student that was with me, he bought a fly product, so he didn't have an issue getting that. So if you want to get fly products, I mean, you know, you'd probably be doing all right for yourself. In between when I left training and then I said I didn't want to go back, I just started learning story after story after story. It just got to a point, it was like, man, there's so many people. There's a bunch of people I personally know. My brain and heart at that point was like, I'm not comfortable going back. Sorry I couldn't make this video entertaining. I'm beat. It takes a lot of work to make that kind of stuff. It's definitely stressful and exhausting to deal with a crap subject too. At the end of the day, I was able to get a refund and stuff because of what Trevor shared with me. I realized that he was really going to put me off, and I had to go to court, that, you know, I probably would be out and my dreams would be crushed. So I was able to avoid it. I was able to go on to have a fantastic time as a beginner in paramotoring. It was an absolute dream. The community I got involved with, all the friends I made, it was amazing. But there was no way I could have left somebody who had been stiff for a couple years, did all the work. He warned us, he put stuff out there for us to find, and then he spent time with me when I was struggling. I didn't want to just go off and say, you know, sorry about your luck, pal. You know, not my problem anymore. I had one last loose end to clean up, and I just want to see that guy get what he paid for, you know? I don't care who you are or how rude or angry or whatever. You spend money on something, you should get that product or you should get your money back. You know, I just really want this guy taken care of, so I'll try to go back to being my doofy self. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, I worked really hard to cut and edit and try to make this fun, but I don't know, maybe at the end of the day, I gotta let out my true self a little bit more. This is really gonna suck down the road, because like, if I go traveling or meet people or go to schools, they're gonna be like, hide the hookers and blow. Steve's coming, he's gonna film Paramotor Nightmares episode 5. It's not so bad. I knew when I pulled the trigger to help Trevor that I was gonna spend a lot of social capital, and you know, my reputation is on the line stuff, and you know, at the end of the day, you just can't care about that. You got to do the right thing. But I really hope like people are like, oh crap, Steve's here, he's gonna post it on the internet. Nah, I'm not like that. I'm trying to help out this guy the best way I can, so I'm using every tool I can, just because I'm a small fry. So is he, and I have a little bit of a megaphone, and I'm a little nuts, so just try doing what I can for him. But yeah, if you guys can help me out, get on that GoFundMe, and you know, let's get him taken care of and go back to having a good time until somebody else pisses me off. Yeah. Toodles noodles.